All right, we are live. I am so excited. Today I always have awesome inspirational interviews, but today is just feels really special to me. Just I love when I have a soul connection with another human being. And so I'm just super excited for today's inspirational interview series. And before I jump in, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Heather Nieves, and I am a body positive mentor. I guide women on a journey through self acceptance, through meditation on a self acceptance journey to fall truly, madly, deeply in love with not only their bodies, but their entire beings. And I have met some incredible women on my journey of just finding myself and just making friends because connection is very important to me. And so I just decided to create this inspirational interview series. I think this is maybe my 15th or 16th interview. I'll have to go count them. But today, I really wanted to bring Jessi on because her work is so important. And I have a feeling through the transition of my son growing up, I will need more and more of her support. But I'm not going to introduce you. I will allow you to introduce yourself. I'll go ahead and share this video out. But if you can just introduce yourself. And for those of you that are watching, comment below, where are you tuning in from? I live near Temecula, California, which is the biggest city. I live in Wildomar. It's about an hour inland from San Diego. And where are you tuning in from? So Miss Jessi, go right ahead.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Jessi Moon, and I am a conscious parenting coach and mindfulness and yoga teacher for adults and for kids. But basically, it kind of like a family healer. So I go to homes and I visit people, and when there's behavior problems for kids, I go in and have private sessions with teenagers or little kids, or even, I just have I have a new little 3-year-old that's experiencing some things where he's wanting to hit the other kids and nervous about preschool. And a little bit, I'm kind of a little bit like a child whisperer. And so basically, teaching conscious parenting, it's always a challenge being a parent, and there's many factors to why that is. It's, you give so much of yourself. And so, I'm kind of just a support for families in a new way too. This is a new modality, mindfulness, and there's a lot of science behind it and how it can change your brain, how meditation can make you feel not only better, can clear your head and bring you to a place of feeling blissful. And for parents, really the message that the message I want to get out to parents is really that there is a higher awareness that we can attain, and there is a life force within us. So we all have energy within us. Sometimes we call that spirit or life force energy. In science, it's called biomagnetism. And through my training, so I've been trained by a mindfulness master, the director of the Self-Awareness Institute, since I was 18, before I had my son. And then was really fortunate to get pregnant and have my son and be able to apply that deep meditation, that deep mindfulness, that deep self-awareness training into my mothering. And so now my son is turning 14 this summer. And wow. I'm just so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. He's such a conscious boy. And so, what I teach, I live. This isn't something that, isn't anything other than really, I teach what it is that I use every day. And so through my, compassion for other parents, I really want to share this. My teacher has asked me to share this awareness of, what does it mean to be a conscious parent, and what is possible for us is basically what I'm trying to bring forth, and get parents really understanding mindfulness, and they can do it. And what I was saying earlier is that parenting is it can be so demanding, and you can get really tired, basically, especially if you both have to work. And so the specific tool, meditating. It enhances your biomagnetic field. It increases your energy. And so when you really learn how to do it and get the right, training, it'll completely change your life, and you will be able to be the mom or the parent that you want to be, and your kids will be happier too. So I have programs like called the Happy Family Transformation, and dealing with, kids that have suicidal tendencies or extreme anxiety, anger, and also not just behavior problems. I get a lot of parents, like you, Heather, that's just more conscious, that comes to me and sees like, oh, wow, what is this? There's more motivated people that want to learn and grow and evolve. Also, so not just in you're needing this because you're having problems, but really there's a higher state of consciousness that we can live in. And if, mothers were to realize this, that's my mission, we would live in a completely different planet.
I appreciate so many different things that you've already said. It's so funny because I have this, nothing's ironic or coincidental. I've been interviewing so many boy moms. I actually interviewed this other woman who, her line of work is similar yet so different, just because I've gotten to meet both of you. But she's a girl mom, and I feel like that was the first girl mom I had interviewed in a while. So I love that just you understand the little boy energy, and now you have the teenage boy energy that you're understanding. And I think it's really so beautiful. So if you're on live or you're watching the replay, how old are your children? Comment below. And if you have any questions, whether you're watching live or the replay, for myself or for Jessi, please comment below. We want to be engaged because this is an opportunity for you to pick our brains. And yeah, I think, what I've learned so much, just been on this healing journey, diving deeper into meditation and, going through that training experience with you, the mindfulness training, is that meditation has allowed me to reach a higher state of like energy and clarity and focus. And, back to the conversation of parenting, is that meditation has allowed me to be just so conscious of my thoughts and in breaking my, personal habits, because I started meditating to heal my binge eating and my relationship with my body, and just understanding what my thoughts are and power, and understanding that I decide what I want to think. I decide how I want to feel. And are these really true about me? But then that translates into parenting. And then when I'm focused on just myself and my son is bothering me, I don't like how I behave as a parent towards my child just being a child. So I think it's so beautiful because it's not necessarily that he's having behavior issues. He's just trying to figure things out and navigate in the world. And I really love the conscious parenting because I want my parenting style to feel good. So, we went through a phase of, are we going to spank or are we not going to spank? And, when it got to a point where it didn't feel good anymore, I had a conversation with my husband, and when it comes to danger, we had the agreement that if, boundaries are pushed, this is the lesson, and you need to understand that this is unsafe, and this is where our job is to protect you. But anything outside of that, if it's just us being frustrated and then spanking him, that's just us losing control of ourselves. And I feel like the consciousness from meditation has just given me just this opportunity to feel very good about my parenting style and let go of what I've learned from other people. And so I appreciate, these kinds of conversations.
Well, that's an example of how growing your consciousness just brings in the light. So that's the key, really, is it's not in all the great ideas that I have to say or any parenting expert. It's really gaining a way of connecting with yourself, your true self, and that higher consciousness that really is always wanting to create more peace and harmony and love. It's all about connecting with ourselves, connecting with our children. And yeah, there's a lot of patterns. There's ways that we were parented. There's spanking, there's timeouts, there's rules, there's discipline, there's grounding, and all of that. You really have to check in with yourself. Does that feel good? Does that feel like it's coming? Where is it coming from? Like you were saying, that's a really great awareness that you have that consciousness to check in and look at, where are you coming from? And that's a big tool that I give to parents a lot is, to just notice, are you coming from a place of fear or anger? That's a lower state, and you might want to use some breathing exercises, or, whatever that might be. Take a yoga class, go for a walk, do a meditation to get yourself to a place of try coming up here into your heart. Being in your heart is a higher state. This is a higher energy. And when you're in your heart, you're able to be compassionate. So we're growing as a species, evolving into a higher state of consciousness. And where we're going is into a higher love. So basically, the key principle is love is all that matters. So you can throw out all your ideas about how things need to look, how you need to parent, what your parents did. Oh, if they did this, I don't want to give in because then this might happen. All of that. You really want to check in with yourself and see, is this coming from a manipulative place, this lower place or a lot of times it comes from fear and embarrassment too. I notice, being out in public, oh no, my child's going to do this. So then you're acting from a place of being embarrassed. And of course your child's going to be acting out. They're pissed off. Stop it, but they don't know how to verbalize that, especially if you have a 2-year-old. They're probably going to hit that kid just because you're driving them crazy, So, everything is energy. We're energy beings, and our children are energy. And basically understanding the principles, these practices, these tools of mindfulness that we can use as parents, they bring us to a place where we're conscious of our energy and our children are energy, and you become like a little sorcerer. You just move energy and say, does this serve me in this moment? A lot of times you might be right in what it is that you're saying, but your child's not receiving it. So do you have the presence of mind to stop yourself and say, well, what's a different approach that I can take that will create this connection? Maybe talk about it in a few hours, let them cool down. There's just, everything's energy. So when you understand that and learn to work with energy, life just becomes a lot more fun. It doesn't have to be so serious, and you don't have to worry so much. Am I doing the right thing?
Yeah. So did you say that you have been practicing mindfulness and meditation and conscious living since you were 18?
Yeah, I met my teacher. I started practicing yoga when I was 18. I met my teacher when I was 18, and he basically, just trained me and had a deep meditation practice, at a young age. So I was very fortunate to get to kind of have a training, taking his mindfulness course, a very deep mindfulness course where we meditate at least an hour a day, and a lot of self-reflection, a lot of looking at ourselves, and then getting to apply that, not even really trying, but, his main principle is love is all that matters. So that's my main principle, because I know that works. Anytime I was confused as a mom, what should I do? Am I doing the right thing? That would just come into my mind, and it would just be like, oh, it's not a big deal. Love is all that matters. Give your child a hug. Everything's
so beautiful because I think especially as women, we overanalyze and we complicate things, and life can be that simple. Parenting can be that simple, and being conscious and mindful is, I feel like, bringing back to simplicity and basics. So that's so beautiful. And I asked you because I think it's really powerful in the healer and teacher that you are, because I know for myself, I've just been meditating for the past couple of years and just transitioning into a mother and really wanting to heal my own behaviors and patterns that I had a lot of shame attached to from my upbringing. I had a lot of letting go and unlearning to do, but I think it's really beautiful that you've gotten to raise your son in this conscious lifestyle without having to plow through the shit and clear it out.
There's been plowing, there's been clearing. No, definitely. My pregnancy was a challenge. And you know what I tell people, because I was very stressed in my pregnancy. It was really hard for me. And I created a more stressed baby. I teach prenatal yoga now as well. And, it really does. Your nervous system is aligned with that baby's nervous system. So, if you're practicing prenatal yoga, you're meditating when you're pregnant, you're making sure that you're happy. It's really important to make sure you're happy. but it also sometimes it just doesn't work out, and you're not as conscious. And that was a time that was really hard for me. And so I had a baby, you as well. That was a little bit more, difficult to deal with, but what I say is anything is healable. So like, even though you might have like a colicky baby, or you have a child that's like biting other children, or the bully at school, or whatever it is, like all of that, everything's going to be okay. Yeah, anything is healable. So you can have a sense of like, don't worry, like you can get through it. And prayer can help in that. And that's where I feel so grateful, because I have basically mothers that pray for healing for themselves or for their children. And then they find me. And I show up at their home, and they are just open. They, because that is my service. Is I'm a healer. I'm a healer for families. I bring in these tools, that spiritual energy, the awareness, not, the spiritual energy, but also the understanding of the science of it, and how the mind works, and how we can direct ourselves to a better place, and we can improve. And so can our children, and the tools for our kids.
You're just evidence that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I learned that from my mentor, because I've understood that, thoughts are energy, and then energy goes out, and then that connects to the person that has the desire, and then we're connected. Yeah. And so it's so beautiful when you understand it from a greater perspective, and that there's just the universe is always at work. And so when we're called to heal or share or guide or coach or whatever, it's all with great purpose.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of mothers, especially mothers, are looking for how do they get happy? How come it's not working? Like they're doing their best, and that's the secret that I have to share, is there is a connection. And that's really the training. I mean, this is a very thorough, deep training from the Siddha yogis, ancient lineage, that I'm bringing forth, into this culture, and bringing it into parenting, bringing it into mothering, because I want to see the vision of mothers enlightening. We can have, anybody can enlighten, anybody can choose to enlighten. But what if we go, where can we make the biggest shift? And for me, it's if I'm able to be a good example, and people can look at me, and I live such an amazingly beautiful life. I feel so grateful, and I get to wake up and experience such a high in my meditation, beyond anything that I can even describe to somebody that hasn't experienced that just energy opening. It's so beautiful. Yeah. So, it's possible for everybody. It's just a matter of if you're open to receive it. And I want to give it to everybody, and every single mother, or, parent too, fathers too, but just specifically, mothers enlightening, and us sharing this with our partners, with our children, and, seeing really mothers as healers too in the world. Because I think that mother energy is really needed in the world. We have such a yang energy, such a dominant, outward expression, and we need that yin energy, but we need it in a powerful way. And women are powerful, mothers are powerful, and we are raising children. And if we were in our power, if mothers were in their power, if they were truly, understanding what it means to grow their consciousness and practicing those tools daily and really integrating them into their life, they're going to see the changes, not only in your own life, and even in your own, personal life, your business, your relationship, and also your kids are going to thrive. And it's not because of any external thing that you say or do, or it's about where you're at in your state of consciousness. And that's what I help, parents, mothers to do, is to enlighten. And I have classes specifically for kids too. I connect with them directly. But what if every parent were able to be their child's teacher, and children wanted to listen to their mothers? And that's when you have a positive energy, your children are going to want to listen to you. So it's important when your children aren't wanting to listen to you, you look at yourself. You don't point fingers at them or yell at them. You look at your own energy and you change it. and you shift and you ask, what can I do? How can I improve? You ask them questions. So, questionings and that self-inquiry, we really have to learn how to do as a society. And I think women can be sometimes, mothers, we can be, and men too, can be self-righteous in demanding our children to listen. You follow me. This is the way.
Because I'm the mom. Because I said so, yeah.
And there is that, you want that level, you want that respect, but you don't get it by forcing it. You don't get it by demanding it. You don't get it through that, I'm the parent kind of energy. You get it through your connection to yourself, because you're just amazing. You're a rad human being, and your children look up to you, and you're conscious, and they ask you questions because they know that you're wise. And if you don't know the answer, you're going to admit it. You're not going to act like you have all the answers, but you're gonna learn at the same time as they're learning, and you're gonna ask them questions about, life, and knowing that the life force, energy, or spirit is in them too, and they are intelligent beings. And a lot of times, it's a really good perspective to look at our children as more pure than we are, and really listen. If you can really learn to listen to your children, even in those times, when you're just like, it's so unnecessary that they're feeling this way. Why are you feeling that way? But they are. And so we can learn to listen and acknowledge that. A lot of times that'll just diffuse what it is that they're going through. And then we can work through it and move through it.
There's so many points that you just brought up that like really moved me, because I always say my son teaches me so many lessons, like when it comes to eating. Like, we grew up saying you should eat everything on your plate because there's starving children somewhere, or, just hurry up and eat. So like at the pace that we eat, and kids, they stop when they're hungry, and then of course they're distracted and they don't eat. But then when they're hungry, they let us know. And they typically, especially at my son's age, they're not overeating because they really listen to their body and they're in tune. And then, when it comes to, intuitive eating, it's just a reminder that it is our nature to have that intuition. And then, when it comes to feelings, I think it's beautiful when my son is feeling big feelings, and I try so hard to just let him feel them and not disregard them, because I think that's going to mold him into the man that he becomes. And embracing others' feelings too. And so I think I love what you just said, because so many times we have these adult expectations of children in the world that we live in and the way that we grew up. And then I have to slow down and think, wow, he's only 3. He doesn't quite know how to do that yet.
Yeah.
There's development. Yeah.
Yeah. And just adding on to what you said, like in dealing with big feelings, really the key is compassion. Just be compassionate. Just acknowledge those feelings. None of them are wrong, and you don't have to worry if they're in public. The more compassionate you are, the quicker it will diffuse. The more compassionate, if you're overly compassionate, they're going to be like, okay, I know, like you're always there for me emotionally. Those emotions aren't going to come up as much. So compassion really is the key.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. So I want to respect your time, and for anyone that comes and watches the replay. But if you have any advice for anyone that just maybe 2 examples, like they're just wanting to become a more conscious parent because they're becoming aware of their parenting style. Maybe their children are or aren't struggling. Maybe they're not quite meditating. Do you have any advice on kind of the first step to conscious parenting, or is your style a little more customized?
Well, I would say you can visit my website. I have a blog, so you can read more about it at let'senlightentogether.com. And at the bottom of the page, you can put your email in, and I send an email out every once in a while and just check in. And with that, there's a free guided meditation that comes with it, because learning to meditate really, I would say, would be a really great start. But, specifically the meditation that I'm teaching, it's a very strong, it's a very deep meditation, and it's going to fill you with life force energy. And that's really what you're needing. Any kind of meditation is good. Deep breathing, yoga, self-care. It's a lot about self-care. But specifically, I would love for everybody watching to go to my website, put your email in at the bottom, and then get that free guided meditation. It's just a 20-minute meditation for parents, and listen to it.
I'm definitely going to get it.
Yeah, listen to it every day. And then, there's more resources in learning. I have a SoundCloud as well. There's a couple talks up on there. If you look up Jessi with an I, Moon.
I love SoundCloud. So I will link your website and your personal page and your conscious parenting page as soon as we hop off of this. And I just want to thank you so much. If anyone is interested, please reach out to Jessi. She said she's taking on new clients. If you're in the Orange County area, she does a lot of local events, but do you do virtual clients?
Yeah, I do. I have clients over the phone, and we have a teacher training coming up too. If anybody's interested, parents are welcome to come, but it's a kids mindfulness